what are we supposed to do here? Are we supposed to say, no, Amazon, that's bad, you shouldn't innovate?
Yeah.
They're going to deliver a ton of value to consumers, I think.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they could potentially be a lot more cost competitive because that's the way Amazon's going to beat other players in this market.
Right.
And so they're going to want to drive prices down so that they can be the option of choice.
Start it up. Let's get it rolling. Big ideas, money folding. Hustle smart, dream so wild. Turn that grind into a joyride.
Important that the studio audience knows that this is also our exhaustion episode, as today is Tuesday. We're filming here on Tuesday, October 28th. Last night was the Blue Jays and Dodgers. Was it 18 inning marathon game? So like 2 baseball games in one. I fell asleep at 2 a.m. Chris left my house at 1 a.m. But because we're shooting this in advance, I just want to say congratulations to the Toronto Blue Jays on winning the World Series. That is fantastic news.
It's a bold prediction after last night.
I'm calling it. After the, well, like, you know what? Like, we played our B team. Because basically our B team played a whole game, played 9 innings, was basically like, we all our position players almost were swapped out. They played pretty well. Like, they just didn't quite score. They were really close.
New strategy, give Shohei Ohtani the 4-fingered salute every time.
Yeah. What if it's the Hackett Shack, but just, the walk the Ohtani, you know what I mean?
Just take the bat out of his hand.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll be pitching this evening, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be just weird too.
Yeah.
But I really hope we mess him up. I think that would be very satisfying after the last game. But anyway, whatever.
Cool.
I mean, we will, because we're going to win the World Series. Congratulations again, Toronto Blue Jays. All right, Chris, what are we doing here today?
All right, we're talking about Amazon's robot revolution.
Ooh, regular robots or sex robots?
I think they're actually not even calling them robots. They're going to call them cobots.
Oh,
because they're with you while you're working.
Oh yeah, right, for sure. That's what everybody. Well, 2 things. That's what everybody wants. First, secondly, is you're totally going to be there for a long time if a robot is doing exactly what you do.
All right, so should we set the table?
Yes.
Okay, so Amazon internal documents reveal plans to automate approximately 75% of operations.
Fulfillment operations, right? Yeah.
So avoiding the need to hire 160,000 workers by 2027, which is like next 2 years. And avoiding more than 600,000 by 2033.
What else is important about 2033? They aim to sell twice as much without adding any people.
Yikes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the thing to me where I was like,
Yeah.
Okay.
So like they've obviously gotten some blowback on this because I think this information leaked, that this wasn't supposed to get out. I'm sure Trump must absolutely love this, right? But anyway, so apparently Amazon they're trying to get their staff to avoid terms like automation and AI in favor of advanced technology.
I mean, this is just euphemisms and this is just crap. Yeah. That's like marketing spin on hey, we're gonna fire a lot of you, and ideally we don't have any of you.
Yeah,
but here's what we're trying to do.
Apparently, they have one of their newer facilities, Shreveport, Louisiana. It actually requires, because of robots, it requires 25% fewer regular workers. And that same warehouse, they plan to cut it to 50% of the workers that they started with. So that's pretty interesting. And unfortunately, there's also this issue that most of the Amazon employees that are probably going to be subject to having their jobs lost are also Black.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. So not a great situation,
right,
for them.
Right.
So obviously some scary stuff.
Yeah.
What's your hot take?
So,
Chief?
well, we have a couple of things. I also read that Louisiana facility, and what is it, Shreveport or whatever you just said? Shreveport.
Yeah.
Apparently,
I believe they had a CFL team for a brief period.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What were they called?
I can't remember. I'll have to
The
look that up.
Shreveport.
Shreveport
Sheevers. Anyway, apparently there are going to be 40 more sites that are going to copy that model by 2027.
Yeah, they're going to do that everywhere.
I mean, this makes sense. So this is okay. So I think I have a couple of different thoughts, similar but different. My hot take off the top is duh. Okay, so obviously, have you ever actually seen a video of what it looks like in an Amazon warehouse. It's highly automated anyway. They have this like Roomba thing.
Yeah, the hockey puck.
The hockey puck. It goes around and it carries like huge stacks and it like moves stuff around and whatever.
Yeah, like takes it to the workers that are packing stuff rather than the workers having to go to the shelf to get the item.
Like this is this is a company that's already focused on innovation and also they were saying something that like the functional element of this automation is that they're going to save something like 30 cents a package, which is enormous.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a huge amount of savings by doing this.
Yep.
And not to mention all the headaches and all the other things that they don't have to deal with, frankly, by having a lot of staff. Like coming down on staff makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think fundamentally what we're seeing is the transformation of Amazon from like a net like job creator to what's the opposite? A job like destroyer almost.
I think they're just talking about like stopping hiring. Like I think actually they were
in
saying,
the warehouse,
like attrition. They just weren't going to rehire as they.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're
them.
not like they're not gonna like go on a big firing spree.
Yeah,
here.
they weren't sending out pink slips. I don't think. I think what it was just natural, contraction of their workforce, not rehiring and implementing more robots to do it.
So like finishing my thought though on like what it looks like in the warehouse. So they got all these robots doing things already, and then the person basically what happens is the person stands at a desk and a label comes up. They grab the label, they look at it, they grab the right size box. The item is there. They put the item in. They can do the tape on it really quickly, and then they put it on a conveyor belt. It's going. That's the human intervention at this stage.
Yeah.
And it's something about the sorting of these like different size boxes. Like that's at least one of the forms of human automation in these warehouses and probably in the more legacy ones. So to me, like this is not surprising. This is the way of the future. We've already talked about even on this show a lot about how AI is coming, but also in the form of AI robotics. So like, which is sort of beyond just the automation we're talking about here.
Yep.
But you can kind of see that there's going to be a lot of different forms of downward pressure on both blue collar and white collar jobs. And this is one of the examples of that. I think also of like Tesla and like all the stuff we talked about in terms of their robots and what they want to do and the Optimus thing, all that. And it's sort of like, this is a different, but like similar feeling sort of progression. I was actually talking to our dad, Papa Sinkinson, never called him Papa, but he, and he was like, I remember in like the 80s or whatever, when in Japan, all the car automation was starting to like be created by robots as well. And there was a similar feeling, oh, wow, it's going to destroy all these jobs. And like, yeah, it does. And these are all functions of like cost competitiveness. Amazon is also in a more competitive market in the United States now. Like there's a lot of different forces, whether it's Temu or whatever, although Temu is like probably dealing a little bit with like the whole, what's it called? The minimum exception?
The de minimis.
The minimis,
exception.
Dealing with
I don't think that exists anymore. Did they get rid of it?
I think so. That's what I understand. Yeah. And so that kind of sucks for them, right? Because there was the whole shop like a billionaire thing.
Yeah.
And then there's also TikTok Shop, and there's all these other things that's putting downward pressure on them. So if I'm Amazon, this is part of staying competitive.
All right. So we're a startup different. I'm going to take a different view than you on this. So you're saying this is going to have like unemployment is going to go way up. This is going to be a major disruptor and stuff like that. So what I want to say is the most paradoxical thing ever. Okay. Technology isn't new.
Uh-huh.
Do you hear what I say? Technology isn't new, which is totally paradoxical because technology is always new, right? It's new tech. Like something new came out, that's technology.
Okay.
Right. But I'm going to say the concept of technology is not new. We have had technology changing our lives forever. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So what I want to put out there is I did some research and I said, hey, what has the traditional like historical unemployment rate been? And I went back 100 years. Okay.
Wow.
So from
you're
some
so
of the
jazzed
data
about this.
Yeah, no. I did some research. Yeah. So I went from I was looking for like I couldn't get data. I found data from 1948 to 2020. The historical average unemployment rate in the United States was 5.8%.
On average.
Okay. Just sort of average it out.
Okay.
As of August 2025, the unemployment rate stands at 4.3.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I did know that actually.
Okay.
In the United States, yeah.
So what's crazy though is that we've had technological advancement. You were talking about Dad being in the warehouse in Japan making photocopiers back in the 80s, and everybody's like, oh, nobody's gonna have a job anymore. And then like the internet revolution happens and nobody's going to have a job anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we're already a few years into the AI thing and people seem to be still employed.
If anything, like one of the biggest net employers is the AI companies themselves.
Yeah.
Which is like weird.
Yeah,
but
weird.
Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't fill me with confidence.
Yeah.
But anyway. But yeah, okay.
But I think one of the myths, we love myths here.
We do.
Is that, technology, like it definitely displaces people. People lose their jobs, but they find other jobs and they do other things that are more interesting. What I thought was really interesting was apparently in 1910, 31% of workers were in farm occupations in 1910. Okay. It went down to about 27% by 1920. And today it's less than 1%.
Yeah, it's all the mega farms, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Because of automation and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But again, unemployment rate, 4.3.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is jobs are lost,
Mhm.
but other jobs are created. Okay.
Yes.
People move from farming to working at AI companies. I'm sure it's a straight line path to do that. But you know what
your
I mean?
pitchfork.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You've been shoveling crap in the stable. Get in and drop it.
Start shoveling crap into
You
the
have no idea how much
LLM.
waste these AI data centers produce. They need you to. Unfortunately, it's nuclear waste, but. I sold my business for $40 million, and I want you to steal my ideas. Check out my book, Startup Different, on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's my take. Okay, blow me up. Go after that.
No, it's pretty good. So I will say on so there's nuance to it. It's so not cut and dry. And I think you kind of alluded to it. The first thing I'll say though is I do partially agree, which I agree with the concept that if you look back on history, what you're saying is 100% accurate. There's circumstances. There was, I can't remember the guy's name, but there was like a contemporary in the I'm going to get this wrong, but 1910s, 1920s, 1930s, who was like, we're going to run out of food.
Yeah,
we're not gonna have enough food for the number of people on Earth.
Did the math.
Extrapolated on the population growth, and did the math on the efficiency of like per yield of harvest, whatever. Yeah. And so what happened? We had a bunch of innovation. We created new combines. We had new kinds of grain. We had new kinds of pesticides. We our harvest. And we like quadrupled our output. And hey, guess what? Planet still we have enough food on the planet right now to feed everyone. It's just not well distributed, right? That's why there are some people who unfortunately face like famine. But on the other hand, there's like societies that have a ton of food, like those in Western societies. Gotcha. So, so what am I getting at here is like there's always like this fear that like this like potential very negative outcome, but it tends to be sort of mitigated. Like nothing. Another way to think about this is nothing is as bad or as good as people portray it. Okay. Generally, it's in the middle. Is kind of my feeling on this. So if we come to this circumstance, so you're trying to make the argument that these jobs that will be lost, these people will find other jobs, and those other jobs could potentially be better. And I would be interested more in trying to understand the quality of life of those people, because a job is not a job is not a job. So if I go and I'm like, maybe you have this data, I think you're a little pumped. Okay, hang on.
You're on my counter argument bullet 2 now. So, anyways,
let me know when I can jump back in. But this is horseshit. You actually got the counter arguments?
Yeah, I set you up. I
cut the show. This is crap. Anyway, that's fine. Keep going. So
no pressure, by the way.
Yeah, I'm really excited now to see if I can outdo your AI bit, your research, quote unquote. So these people might have been making X amount working at a warehouse, probably like $19-20 an hour or something like that. I think is roughly what it is. It's probably on average. And so they're making that, but then they have to get a new job or they have to retrain, which has a few years of cost to it. Plus then going to a new job
Yeah.
making the same or less. Once you factor all this in, it's probably net negative, but I don't necessarily know that. And I think there is also a lot of, we take certain things for granted, like the cost to move from one city to the next, the cost to go to retraining, the cost to do these sorts of things is material. Yeah. And it's not always feasible. Like some people, because of financial reasons, they can't just move out of their town. Right. So it's a little bit more complicated. But go ahead and continue with your AI-driven argument.
Did really well. You got numbers 2 and 3 on my bullet point.
Let's go.
Okay. So job quality concerns. So yeah, you have a fancy job, white collar, doing awesome stuff, and you can't quickly
This
replace
is the real
that
deal
with something
This
similar.
is why people freak out with AI, because they don't see the next job.
Yeah.
And they probably get pretty good money right now.
Yeah, exactly. So that is scary.
Making 150 a year, got good benefits.
We are in that white collar category as well. So I'm feeling the heat as well, especially as a software developer. You know, that's a pretty cushy
Actually,
job.
I feel I'm less into vibe coding right now, but we can talk about that.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay. The other thing you talked about was transition costs. So yeah, it's definitely not like you can easily move from your existing job, your existing white collar job to something else.
Yeah.
So that's the transition piece, the retraining piece, that kind of stuff. It's going to cost money.
It'll either cost costs people time, and often it also costs taxpayers money, just for what it's worth.
Yeah. And then so the last counter argument I have to my thesis.
So you're offering the counter argument.
Yeah, no, I'm going to blow up my own argument here.
Interesting.
So the whole idea that this time is different. Okay. And I think when you think about why the AI technology and what it's doing to our economy, why this time is different is the speed at which it's happening and the people that it's affecting. Okay. So in the past, it was low end jobs that people didn't really want to do. Now it's the intelligent people that are being displaced by the AI.
Theoretically.
Right.
I don't think we've seen a ton of displacement yet.
Yeah.
But it's on the horizon if it's going to happen.
And then, of course, this wasn't a thing 3 years ago. Like 2022 was kind of when this started to get some traction.
Yeah.
And so like in 3 years, this has really revolutionized the way that businesses are operating. We're seeing it happening all over the place. So that's the scary piece, is that, you know, all that stuff, farming, automation, you know, robots that happened in the 80s, that sort of stuff. But this feels different, you know, is the fundamental crux of my main counter argument. That maybe, I know when we were building our business, what worked for us when we were 3 employees, 4 employees, did not work for us when we were like 8, 9 employees.
Just hilarious.
We kind of had to reinvent ourselves.
It's not that big a company,
grew.
but it's like such a change so quickly.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But so sometimes what has happened in the past isn't a good indicator of what's going to happen in the future. So in this case, I kind of think we might be in that category where it's happening so fast and it is so fundamental, the people that it's affecting, that this may not be the one that happens the way the others.
Let's come back to the I like that, and I think that's probably true. And I think as a broader topic on AI, like, which I'm sure we'll probably talk about this in another episode, but I think that's like, as AI affecting employment, that's a really good piece. And like the speed and the singularity adds like this other like objective fear of the unknown. Right. But when we come back to the warehouse for a second, so let's consider for a moment, are these jobs worth protecting?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So this is the thing I struggle with, right? Because by all accounts, these are kind of shitty jobs.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, you mind you, like, you got to make money, you got whatever. And I'm not trying to deny people opportunity. And sometimes you got to take the job that's available. And I understand that. But, you know, is there something else we can do with these people that uses, you know, probably what is their unique intelligence and experience and education and all that stuff? To do something maybe more meaningful. Like it feels kind of like these should be automated jobs. I'm not trying to get people fired or something. And there's probably a human element where there is value added by the employees, of course. But I just kind of feel like it's pretty limited. You know,
it kind of reminds me, a few episodes back, we talked about the Canada Post labor disruption.
It does remind me of this.
And you know, like, everybody always says, well, AI is great at doing the things that people don't want to do in automation. You know, like, people don't want to do these jobs. And you see like labor disruptions, and they're saying these jobs are, you know, tough and hard work, and they don't like the jobs, and they want more money to do those same jobs, but they're not really complicated. And you kind of have those moments where you're like, maybe this isn't a job that people want to do. And this is a good candidate for automation, AI.
Like, the only way we can get people to do these jobs is by paying them a lot. Right. Which is interesting, because in the white collar world, you get paid a lot for the most intellectually complex or like leadership level demanding work. And strategic, as opposed to like work that you hate. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's kind of this weird thing on the low end of the job market where it's like all the jobs are terrible.
Yeah.
And you want to be a garbage man. Like, I don't think anybody grows up being like, well, maybe like some little kids because it's cute as hell. But but I don't think many of them grow up being like, I want to be a garbage man. But then you look at garbage people, they get paid like,
pretty well.
Yeah, like 100K,
yeah.
120 maybe.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because they got to pick up the garbage.
Yeah.
So like,
but there's another example of automation where now like the trucks just have the arm that grabs the thing and chucks it in the back and off it goes to the
self-driving vehicles.
That
you can see that.
Yeah.
What happened? Remember, there was like a startup called Auto. I think they got sued by somebody, but it was the whole concept was trucks that drives themselves, like big 18-wheelers.
Oh yeah.
But I think they were like, well, if the Tesla's getting in an accident, but you can see the longer term path of that probably being a realistic automation as well.
For sure.
But anyway, so I guess coming back to this is like, yeah, it sucks for these people, but I also think that if you're the job that you're working in, if you can kind of see that this could obviously be perhaps automated or large portions of it automated, and you understand that you have worked for a big company that's always like their business model is essentially focused on cost reduction, then it's kind of like, well, this is maybe not a great gig.
Yeah.
And if you're in these spaces, then you should be maybe while you're still employed, you're thinking about retraining at night.
Yeah.
You're doing night school and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know this is
it's
a big ask, but like, I guess the point is like, what are we supposed to do here? Are we supposed to say, no, Amazon, that's bad, you shouldn't innovate?
Yeah.
They're going to deliver a ton of value to consumers, I think. Yeah. All of a sudden, they could potentially be a lot more cost competitive because that's the way Amazon's going to beat other players in this market.
Right.
And so they're going to want to drive prices down so that they can be the option of choice. Absolutely. And so, or speed up delivery.
All right. So let me throw another angle on this at you in the last, few minutes of this episode.
Throw an angle?
Throw that angle. You just do
How
it,
do you
man.
turn a phrase?
Here's the angle. All right. What do you do if you're Walmart?
Same thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Pretty much, right?
Well, actually, I read about this too for this episode, and it was as soon as one of them figures this out, they're all going to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think like Walmart's probably pretty automated, probably not dissimilar to what Amazon is doing.
Yeah.
And I think they're like, well, let's just keep doing that because they especially Walmart needs to be cost competitive.
Right.
So that doesn't surprise me like at all. So I think, that's so. Like, look, if you're a warehouse worker, like you might not have a job in 5 to 10 years.
Right.
Or like it's the writing's on the wall. They're looking to get rid of you.
Yeah.
And
it's a toughie. Like they might not be looking to get rid of you, but if you quit, they are probably not replacing it.
Tell you what, maybe your opportunity lies in being like a mechanical engineer.
Yeah. Actually, that is one of those things that the spin that Amazon's trying to put on it is like, hey, we're going to need all these high-end like engineers to go out. Yeah,
but like it's a fraction, a tiny fraction of the number of like employees they'd need at a warehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be paid more, yes. But
the thing too is for a lot of tech stuff, I don't know about you, but like once you got it figured out, you can replicate that tech pretty easily.
Yeah,
so you just have a stable of backup hockey pucks that go out and like, oh, one broke.
I'm sure they do this already.
Out it goes.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah. Can you imagine being like, oh, like there's a single point of failure in an Amazon warehouse? Like there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's redundancies built into that whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't not deliver your thing in a day.
So, all right, another angle. What do you do if you're a small startup? And you're trying to compete with, like let's say you're a small company and you've got your own like warehouse, and all of a sudden you're competing with Amazon that has robots picking and packing every single product.
No, you got to do it too. Like, but I think there's a few categories here. So there's Amazon, the flagship of warehouse management, like logistics. Incredible logistics. After that, you have the 3PL market,
right?
Which is all there's a bajillion 3PLs. So
those guys,
they're doing this. They're going to have to go down this path.
Yeah.
There's no way they couldn't. For the same reasons that they want to offer, as the way they beat Amazon is they're less expensive to hold the merchandise and they're less expensive on the fulfillment, but they don't have the marketplace, right? Amazon is the front-facing marketplace as well. If you want to be Prime, you have to be in the Amazon warehouse.
Yeah.
Quite often what people do is they put a little bit of inventory in Amazon and then a lot of inventory in a 3PL as well. So they get Prime.
Yeah.
And then they can also do like Amazon's multi-channel fulfillment, or they just do something so that they get the Prime badge, have something in Amazon, but also have they spread out the inventory.
Yeah.
But the expectations are going to be the same.
I think my expectation
and they all compete on cost. Those 3PLs win on cost. That's the only way they beat Amazon. Amazon doesn't do box stuffing. So putting stuff in the box, like you want to put fun paraphernalia, you want to make it your own box, you want to have like a more of an experience for the consumer.
Yeah,
you got to go to 3PL.
How do you know all this?
I'm working on my stealth thing.
Operation Stealth.
Operation Stealth, because it isn't anything.
One
yet.
day we'll find out what Operation Stealth is. So all right. So let's say you're a small 3PL. And how are you going to go hire the engineers to build the robots to do all this sort of stuff? Like, all of a sudden, you're running a company that's like a warehouse with trucks showing up.
What a great opportunity for a startup.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I know. I'm with you for sure. I can see exactly where you're going. Robotics company. We're a logistics robotics company. We come into your warehouse. We digitize it. We're going to make you fucking sick.
I'm sure it exists though. Like I'm sure like big companies like Honeywell and those types of companies do tons of that sort of stuff. But what's interesting though is I find that Amazon, I think it sounds like they're doing it internally themselves, where they're like, no. This is our competitive advantage.
It's a core competency. They have to own that.
We're going to be great at this, and we're going to do it internally. Totally. We're not outsourcing this to Honeywell or
another point.
Whatever.
They have their own SKUs, or they have their own barcodes.
Yeah,
they have like for every Amazon, everything in an Amazon warehouse has got its own little fancy Amazon barcode, as opposed to some of the other sort of like industry standard accepted ones in every other 3PL.
Yeah,
it's like they have a process, they have a system, and that is maybe the most valuable part of their business.
Yeah. It's always interesting when you think about businesses, and I think about our business where we went deep on something, where we spent a lot of our time to make things efficient. Okay. And I feel like for us, it was like we needed to build apps and we needed to do it very efficiently.
Yeah.
And so we had an assembly line of apps that was like virtually automated. Okay. And we went way deeper than all our competitors in that space, because that was like a core competency to us.
We had to be the best at it.
We had to be the best at it. Okay. And this is like Amazon doing the exact same thing. They're saying, you know what? We're really about putting boxes on trucks and getting them out of here.
Yeah.
And we need to be incredibly good at that. And we're going to bring in the smartest people possible to build the best robots possible, so that even our competitors who are going to be outsourcing it to startups and stuff like that are always playing catch up.
Yep.
We always have this advantage in our business.
They have to be the innovators in the field.
Yeah. It's a toughie, because then there's some real concentration risk. Like, wow, Amazon really owns that market.
I think, just wrapping this up, I think the reality is, if you have a blue collar job, you're always at risk of automation.
Yeah.
Automation is not your friend.
Yeah.
If for your job security, you should be cognizant of that and be aware of where your company is going with it. And maybe if you're working on one of these warehouses and maybe you're seeing an opportunity for your own business, and you just got to go out and try and do something, maybe that's another opportunity there too. Things that we don't understand because we're just not in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what's our advice for startups? Like, build robots.
Hope
for the best.
I think there'll be lots of opportunities in warehouse automation.
Yeah.
I think the 3PL market is super busy with tons of players looking for unique advantages.
Yeah.
I think that's a tremendous opportunity. I mean, we know some people who do I want us to call it like box consulting, where they consult with 3PLs and are like, why did you use that size of box when you can use this one that's 2 inches smaller that will save you a cent per box? And this is a built out industry, but I do think there's a lot of opportunity because the internet, there's just so much shipping happening every day. I think it's a great opportunity for you to consider, how can we attack this market and do it in a way that helps these 3PLs compete with Amazon.
We need to build that like Star Trek transporter, where you just like put the box on the pad, and then you
I think the concept
I always up at your door.
Teleportation, as far as I understand it, was always about effectively like destroying the item and then like rebuilding it in a new place. Yeah. So let's work on that.
You gotta leapfrog, and attack. Then Amazon goes, oh no, we blew it. We should have been working on teleportation.
They're looking low tech with a drone, and you're fucking teleporting shit into people's houses. Hell yeah.
All right, that's a great way to end the episode.
Yes. All right, teleportation. And congratulations again to the Toronto Blue Jays. See you next week, folks.
Start it up. Let's get it rolling. Big ideas, money folding. Hustle smart, dream so wild. Turn that grind into a joyride.